My name is Nthabeleng Ngalo. I'm 32 years old. I'm also known as Beneficiaries because of my vibrant energy. I was born and bred in Begasal, but currently staying here in Simunya Extension 1. I'm staying with my family, my kids, and my husband. 2011, around, it was during 16 days of activism, and our then counselor introduced us to a lady who used to work for Human Settlement, who's a deceased now, who's no more. May her soul rest in peace. And they told her that the counselor had told her about us because we were a child-headed family. I was the oldest one, staying with my younger brother. So because we were struggling, there were some things that we didn't have, like we did not have a means of income, and when it comes to food, we have to go to the counselor, always plead and plead. So that's how she introduced us to the department, and then our relationship started there during 16 days of activism. 2006, I dropped out in school, in Nthabeleng High School, because my mom was bedridden, she was very ill, and there was no family member that was willing to help us. So I had and needed to make that choice. Before dropping out in school, my ambitions was to become a psychologist or a social worker, just to be able to help vulnerable kids, only kids that were vulnerable and were abused. What had inspired the career path that I wanted to take then, it was because of my background as a child. So I've realized that as much as people are talking about child this, child that, there are so many things that they're not dealt with well, because at that time there were less homes for vulnerable kids, children that were abused, and others, they were even abused in their households, and they didn't have a place to go, and they didn't even know where to start if they needed to reach out. So all I wanted to do is to be the voice to the voiceless. Since then, what happened is this: they went out there and looked for somebody that can give me a bursary to go and study auxiliary social work. I couldn't do social work or psychologist because I didn't have matric. But because I had a grade 10 report, a positive pass grade 10 report, it allowed me to go and study social auxiliary work, which is you work under the social worker, and you become supervised by the social worker. You don't do statutory work, you don't do therapy, but you do a lot of things such as group work and the one-on-one sessions and so many things. So I went back to school in 2012. Yes, in Kenya College, I started attending there for social auxiliary work. Then after that, I was also introduced to an organization by the name of Arecheng Social Services, because it was an organization that has been long running, and it has a good name with the department, and they needed an organization that is having the same criteria as the one that I want to take when I start my career as an auxiliary social worker, then later social worker. The other sponsors that they looked for, they went the Department of Human Settlement, but clearly WHO as one of my sponsors, because it's an Kiki RDP, and inesa khatlisi, the furniture, everything inesa khatlisi. So as much as never batla go nketsetsa something entle for nna, they also wanted to change everything that is around me to make it ibe ntle nkhatlise, and because they needed me or us to feel special, understand? So what they did, they came and baqadile ba painter, and they bought a furniture. Everything was renewed, like discrepenyana tsele that we used to have, mpetenyana ole wa katla, like now was sleeping like a queen. So WPHO, because ne ba utlwile ke re ke batla ho ba a social worker, and also I'm in a process of ke entle ke mo ke study-a ke tlotla ke qala ho study an auxiliary social work. So they wanted me hore ha ke qeta ke se ke be ka sokola mosebetsi, because I came mosebetsi ya sokoleha. So they wanted me hore ha ke qeta fela ebe ke qala somewhere. So they had this plan with them hore no, how about rona really WPHO re ahele a shelter for abused women and their children. Then wena while o ntse le ko sekolong, rona will be taking care of everything in terms of ho aha and everything. So what they did, ba bile ba tsamaya ba go IEC ba kopa structure se ne ba sebedisa khale for the elections that was no longer being used. So the structure is the one that you see into Nana. So it is easily hore we kiswana se batlile sona basi etse. And again ba batle WPHO ba batle some other sponsors as well. Bo Sibanye, bo South Deep. There were so many people that were involved. So the aim for Ho'aha shelter, and even the name itself came from WHO, because of this was supposed to be, or it's supposed to be my baby, something that will sustain me and my family from then until forever. So the name that was given for this shelter was Nthabeleng Safe Haven, as I am Nthabeleng, so it is the safe haven.